live on YouTube, and listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Weekly Steelchair's owner and host Reece here for the World of Football podcast. My esteemed podcast colleagues will be joining me very, very shortly. That will be Julio, that will be Nathan. But, of course, this is where the fun begins. So, it is good to see everybody. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the World of Football podcast. We really do appreciate it. We've got a huge show this evening. And guaranteed we're going to have a couple of rants, some fun conversations. Julio might be on drugs. But we'll find out. But of course, we do appreciate everybody that does tune into this channel. We build, we have fun. Excuse me. We try to be... We try to have as much of an open debate as possible, but to be fair, we are so quite well aligned in terms of views that you're already winning, unless you're a Everton fan. No offense, James, who's actually in the chat. That's really peak timing. We really do want to make the most of this, and we certainly are here for it. So thank you, one and all. Unfortunately, I don't have the channel link for YouTube, so I can't actually do what I wanted to do, which is make James a moderator, because James supports every single channel that we're all associated to. Like, he is literally the most loyal guy I know when it comes to YouTube in terms of supporting channels. He is that guy. But of course, I have written a massive description for the channel. Yes, that took me about 5 minutes, which is longer than Manchester United's defence. But at least it's very descriptive of who's involved in the channel, and what you see is what you get, because that's what this channel is all about. There's no mincing words on here. Especially for Nancy Boy. We certainly tell it as it is. We have fun. We don't lay it back. But we do have fun. So please do, as I say, once again, and I won't say it for the rest of the stream after this, please do like, share, and subscribe. That's it. That's the only requirement, except have fun. Get involved. This is football, but if you do like other podcasts, other types of contents, most involved, you can certainly get involved. I have a wrestling channel. If you like wrestling and gaming, which is just here, the Weekly Steelchair. I am live after this at 1:45. I am doing a TV watch-along. If anyone wants to join, even for that, you're more than welcome. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the lot. I'm also with that on Twitch. I'm on Kick, so I stream to all of that. Nathan, of course, in NWYMT on YouTube. Julio, who'll be here shortly as well. He's the Red Brew Review. Obviously, the founder of the podcast, which is a certain Mr. Douglas Horn, where he horns it in the worst way. Just kidding. Probably the most inclusive individual, apart from many people I know and myself, on YouTube, particularly football YouTube. He is the founder of this of this podcast. He is the reason it's now moved on to a channel. It's now a build-up. It's a bold way to go. We have listed him, of course, in the description. Of course, Julio in the chat as well, my man. Yeah, waterfalls, rivers, streams, rainfall. It all builds up. We can certainly get in on there. Of course, I had to put a little bit of mockery on Nathan in the chat, because obviously I put he's in an unfortunate love-hate relationship with Cardiff City, and to my own pain, he likes Celtic. But this is what we are. This is what we do. We are passionate football fans. We don't do it any other way. Josiah, good to see you, my friend. How are you? Again, you're more than welcome. James, if anyone wants to join us tonight, alongside, obviously, just keep us going in the background. If you do want to join us on stream, you're more than welcome. I will drop the link. We do love having people on here, and because we like to just talk football, and we do football quizzes on here. We do relevant discussions. We really tear football teams apart. We really don't have any other way about it. What you see is what you get with us. And if you don't like it, then we don't apologize. Just saying. If you don't like it, we don't apologize. Yeah, watch that change very swiftly. It better fucking happen anyway. It's only 36 minutes in, it was fine. Tell you one thing though, it proves my point about certain systems, amongst other things. It's not a good result though, but I do like watching Como, just not when it's at my expense. Here we go. Let me turn off that notification sound. Sorry, there we go. Put my phone on A. There we go. So once Julio gets in, we'll be able to crack on. Of course, we do have a Nathan Curran. Julio is watching it from the, because we're streaming on Portrait and we're streaming on Landscape. There will be two separate streams run at the same time, so everyone else is watching on Landscape, which is what I've got on in the background. Nathan is here. I think he says he's going to join about 9. I think he's going to sit about. You all right, mate?
I went in that perfect time. How's everyone doing anyway?
I think they're all good. Yeah, I think so as well, James. I think Fabregas will, but I think Fabregas is doing so well with Como, he should stay where he is. Why leave? Especially when he's a shareholder in the club.
Yeah, it is a bit of a bizarre one, but I don't know if at the end of we saw Robbie Savage at Macclesfield, didn't we? I mean, bit niche, but at the end of the day, even though you got shares in somewhere, loyalty's gone in football now. So
exactly,
it's an hard one. It is.
Yeah, it is. Once Julio eventually stops pissing and he hurries up and joins, we'll be able to get into some of the main topics of tonight's discussion, but we are going to dive into one just now whilst we are waiting for Julio, and it is quite a topic. Of course, it's a pressing concern because again, people are being unfortunately victimized over where they come from, but the African Cup of Nations, I'm thankful I'm good friends with a lovely Tunisian man who told me he's actually not happy about the fact that it's going to every 4 years. So this will now run in the same length of time as the Euros and the World Cup. And obviously the Copa America as well. It's not healthy for international football. It's not healthy for the growth of the African game. And it's also not healthy for the fact that it's going to be at the worst times of year where the viewership may not be as good or as intended to from worldwide audiences. What's your thoughts on this, dude? And folks in the chat as well, what are your thoughts on the African Cup of Nations going to every 4 years?
It's a tough one because the way that it works now is very good. I think every 2 years is a little bit extreme, purely because that means, especially if you're an African nation and a really good African nation as well. You're talking Nigeria's Ivory Coast, who were amazing in like the 2000s, mid to late 2010s, with some of the players they've had, your Drogbas, etc. Senegal, who brought it back with the likes of Mane, etc. I mean, these clubs that serially qualify for all these competitions, it's literally major tournament, major tournament, major tournament, major tournament. So it'd be good in that aspect. But the fact it's going every 4 years is just going to absolutely, well, it's just going to ruin the timings for the other major tournaments as well. I mean, Euros, it won't be affected. If they put it at the same time as the Euros, it could be okay. But we've already seen it with a big fixture congestion. I mean, why, after with all the criticism of the Champions League, Europa League getting bigger, and now you've got AFCON moving and completely changing, it's really bad. Like, we even see it now where a lot of Premier League players, and it's good to see the African game really expanding over here as well. It's quite mad that they're all gone for a month, adding to all this fixture congestion. Like, there's no rest there, there's no nothing. It's push, 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 push. And the way it's just getting even worse. I mean, we've already seen the impacts with the scrapping of the FA Cup replays, which I, in my opinion, was extremely controversial as a guy who absolutely loves them. But
I know, obviously, I'm against it. But at least we discussed that. Like, we discussed that in fairness, why we have opinions, and that's a good thing about it. But I do get where you were coming from at the time as well.
Like, I've got a massive nuanced opinion on it, but I think in hindsight, in a way, even though I still want them to return. With the lower leagues, we still got things like the Pizza Cup being expanded. Everyone knows my opinion on that. Carabao Cup's had to reform now as well, which really disadvantages League One, League Two teams in particular, Championship less so. FA Cup congestion is I will say it's too much football.
I agree.
With less money being funneled down. I mean, admittedly, looking as an observation with this new Sky deal with the EFL, I think the gap between Premier League and Championship is going to close over I'd probably say the next 5 years, as long as the Premier League TV deal doesn't get ridiculous. Because I think it is starting to level now.
That's an interesting point. I want to come on to that as well, because I have quite an opinion on that. James has dropped a couple of comments in which have been absolutely brilliant so far. He says, definitely not healthy at all. And it's hardly a surprise with the way football has been run in the modern day. I'm glad you're feeling great, dude. I'm glad you're feeling good. James also says, I hate the fact that YouTube literally fucking stupidly has you all in just your ads. I know your names. This is pure artificial racism. It's not my doing. I still remember Arsene Wenger saying we should have a World Cup every 2 years, which is just plain insanity.
Step forward delusion.
Remember, this is also at the time when Arsene Wenger was not like doing what he does. Well, what he claimed he does best. He claimed he was winning trophies, and he said this when he was winning hee-haw. So, specialist in failure, specialist in delusion.
That's what I was going to say. He is the specialist in failure, so...
Two seconds. There we go. But I worry that the way things are being done now in football, I agree. Like, is it really healthy? Is it really for the betterment of the game? Is it really for the sport to be better? Like, I look at it and it hurts as well, because the world of football, pardon the pun, is not actually getting better. And this is kind of funny as well, that it ties in what people say about when they don't like the modern game has the difference. And I think that's the problem with the game as well, is people's enjoyment of the game is certainly becoming more affected because of that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I'm a big believer, especially with football as well. The legend is here. Yeah. I'm a big believer, especially with football, and this is just in general in life as well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But why are we seeing, especially, I'd probably say since 2018, why are we seeing all these officials from UEFA, FIFA, just trying to break everything, in some aspects, the FA as well? I mean, and it's not even decisions for the better for me. It's just
things, but it's just their lack of ineptitude. Julio, good to see you, brother.
All that money.
You are looking really good. Also, congratulations, mate, on with uni. Congratulations as well. So I thought I'd just drop that one in for you. I gave him a very nice introduction, folks. I'm doing no further. That's as much as gets out of me. But it's good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. And just obviously, those who haven't watched the channel before as well, obviously we'll get your part as well. But also, I don't know if you heard the question, but if you were watching in the background, but I just want to get your thoughts on AFCON going back to AFCON is going to every 4 years. And what's your thoughts on that with the way that the world of football is going? And how big of an impact do you think that will have on the tournament, especially the time of year that it's played on?
I heard the question. I heard Nathan's analysis of it. I actually can't add anything. I think from what I heard with Nathan, I completely agree. I don't want to waffle or monologue about player welfare either, because I think that is a direct symptom of it. And we all know, I think we've heard enough about player welfare where we know actually where it would be going if that was to happen. We all know the repercussions. We're already seeing it. We're seeing more serious injuries happen more frequently in the world of football at the minute.
Yes,
and I think I agree with especially with what Nathan said about, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we're just trying to add ingredients to dishes that are already well settled. You know, I think having AFCON every 4 years is fine. Having the Euros every 4 years with the World Cup in between is fine. I think we're seeing too much football now. We're seeing them try and put too much football now because they obviously see how much money is in it. But I just think that it's ridiculous. I think players are having little to no breaks now. There are, especially at the top level, managers and coaches, they are a lot more intense with their training.
Yeah, they're punishing. It's almost like they're punishing players as well, which is awkward.
I
understand
coaches having elite mindset of obviously high intensity training, high intensity everything. Now, obviously, 20 years ago, if you ask players then, all they want to do is play. I think they would rather play matches every 3 days than train.
Yeah.
But that can only go for so long. It's not sustainable. There are players out there. Excuse me. I'll give you an example, just not related to AFCON or anything. Ruben Neves. How long has he been playing first team professional football for?
Well, he's 20. Was it 28, 29 now? So I'd say he's been playing professional for about, because it's Portugal,
10 or 11 years.
I would say,
longer.
Give or take.
He was captain at a young age in Portugal, and then obviously came to Wolves and he played Premier League football. The point I'm making is Ruben Neves could just as easily be one of those players because they played high-level football from such a young age that by 33 he's washed.
11
We're seeing
years.
that a lot now, actually.
Exactly.
A lot of players I've seen in my lifetime, teams I've supported. So, for example, Aaron Ramsey washed at a really young age, debuting at 16, playing proper first-team football. Gareth Bale, you could even say the same as well with the injuries. Wayne Rooney, I'd probably say, is for me the most significant one of my generation. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for saying he was washed at an early age, but
you're right.
I mean, Derby early 30s, I think that's the biggest one for me.
That's
the Rooney
another
example. The Rooney example is perfect.
That's a great one, Dan. Welcome in as well, mate.
Yeah,
I'm actually looking because obviously you brought Ruben Neves, a good example. Ruben Neves has been playing for Portugal since 2012 when he was 14. That was under 15 Portugal squad in 2012. His youth career started in 2005. He was at Porto for 9 years in the youth academy. He played for Padronense for a year, and he was playing for Porto for 3 years, Wolves for 6 years now, Al Hilal for 3 years. But he is unfortunately he's a month older than me, so that makes me feel old. But Ruben Neves is 29 in March, and he's been playing professional football at a pro level. Well, yeah, I still have to bring that up. He's been playing pro since 17, so he turned pro when he was 17. So he had a little bit of a later pro start than most players his age because they get shoved in at like 16.
Though. He's very much straight in. That's the thing. It wasn't even gradual. It was straight in. And also playing top level football in Portugal, even though we don't rate maybe the Portuguese league as high,
but
still
the
a high level.
is crazy. Yeah.
And then straight into Wolves in the Championship, and then straight into Premier League football.
And on top of that as well,
Bruno Fernandes. Yes, exactly.
I don't think it'll be as severe as Rooney, but he is getting washed quite quickly.
I'll tell you who you can...
It's just different positioning. Like Rooney, he obviously out and out striker. Gradually over the career, he starts to drop back and back and back across the pitch, go into a centre attacking midfielder. And then I remember his last game for Derby, seeing him live. He was a defensive midfielder. I mean, when that's happening for such an elite player like that, one of the greatest Premier League players of all time, that's concerning at that age, and it just shows too much football. But
it was how quickly he got washed.
Yeah.
He had a good season under Moyes, and then under Louis, the start of Louis' second season, we were sitting there watching him not be able to. This example hit. Yes.
He
had no summer break 4 years.
It's the worst of them all because this arguably.
This guy played every summer for about 4 or 5 years.
That Man United transfer ruined him.
He was washed before he came to United because of the intensity. 2 Copa Americas in 2 years, a World Cup, a Confederations Cup. This guy was doing everything.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I know people say Hazard was better. I honestly thought Sanchez was better. The difference is Hazard was playing for a title-winning team. If Sanchez was playing for that Chelsea team, Hazard doesn't even get in that conversation.
The high intensity of this guy as well. The way this guy played football was high intensity. So that mixed in with not carrying as such, but he was the star player of his national team. As good as they were as a full team unit.
Yeah.
To not... Sir Alex in his book mentioned this similar problem with Hernandez.
Yes.
The problem Chicharito had was freshness. He was starting the season late because he had something going on every summer. He had a World Cup, Copa America, the Olympics.
Yeah.
In the 3 years Sir Alex had him.
It's disgusting. Like it's
crazy.
It is disgusting. And for me, I mean, this is a prime example. I'm just a fan of Sanchez. I've actually been defending Sanchez a lot against Man United fans recently, which is wild. But he wasn't as bad as people make out Man United. The problem is it might not look as good for the return in terms of the money he was getting, but he was playing in a position where he was playing alongside somebody who was constantly complimenting space for him, so it makes no sense. Pogba and Sanchez didn't work left on left. You could have played him through the middle, which Wenger done. They got a 30-goal season out of him. Like, it's simple logic.
That's why Wenger played him centrally. Wenger knew he couldn't cut it on the wing anymore.
And he was cutting out. If you actually look at it, when he got that 30-goal season, he was drifting out to the wing. And then he was coming in, and it was so good. And you're like, fuck, we've got an even bigger problem here. But, like, this is the thing. Like, this is the same player that gets abused for all that. But, like, he wanted to go back to Arsenal because it's not that Man United is a bad football club. I've said it before so many times on this podcast with the lads present, that Sanchez's decline, it was starting at Arsenal in that final season, before he came to the club. But he came into a tactical setup that expedited the decline. At least under Wenger's football, it's not as obvious. Like he wouldn't have not went fully into decline until maybe the season later. This was just like that, unless Wenger changed things around. If he'd went to City, he would not have declined.
Do you know what the thing is as well? I mean, City would have played him centrally a lot more. But the other thing as well,
and they would have managed his minutes properly.
When we saw Sanchez come to United, we'd seen him have a bit of an off season at Arsenal, but Arsenal weren't doing well, and we all thought he'd down tools. That's
But
why he
hadn't.
wasn't performing, but he hadn't. He was just washed. So, I think what we
Yes,
were
James,
expecting,
spot
we
on.
we in hindsight, we were never going to get. We should have seen it. As fans,
Yeah.
we should have seen it coming. And we've said before many times that the one pre-season he had at United in 2018 in the US, because I don't think Chile went to the World Cup that year, did they?
No, they didn't qualify.
Jose played him down the middle and he got 2 goals in the space of like 3 games. Now, I know it's
Yeah,
only
that was
pre-season, but he was playing centrally. And then we never saw him play centrally.
And then they got rid of him. And it's
So-
annoying but for that reason.
I've got a bit of a bold fix on how to fix this. Ultimately, if they want to keep all this football and maybe expand it a little bit more, there's only one thing for me, and this is going on squad registration rules and sub rules. So I did an experiment on Football Manager,
Of
and
course.
this worked a treat. And so what I did was I compared one full season at Cardiff. This is League One level, and I also did it with the Premier League. So I did one of each with the current rules and one of each with my new rules. And with my new rules, the amount of injuries dropped like a stone. Reason being, squad registration across the board goes up to 30, 12 substitutions in a game. Similar to international tournaments.
Serie A style.
Yes. Reason being, for every position, you can have a backup immediately, and then that expands the squad out so you can have third choices. That massively cuts down on injuries, because if you go in, for example, Saturday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, or like we saw with Crystal Palace where they were playing Wednesday and Saturday at midday,
It's fixed rotation.
ultimately, you can rotate and you can comfortably rotate instead of having backup players who have to know multiple positions. Football
like
is
that.
expanding very diversively tactically, and ultimately, if you can have a backup in each position and be allowed to have them on the bench, it's much better than burning out players. Like prime example at the moment, going back to Cardiff, we have one left back at the club.
Yeah,
we are literally running down Joel Bagan's legs. But the thing is, because we're only allowed in League One 7 players on the bench.
5. 5.
Oh, of course it is 5. I keep forgetting that.
Same as that. No, it's 6 because in that stupid Papa John's touch up the priest trophy, it's 5 substitutes for that, which makes no sense.
I will hear no slander on that trophy only because Northampton Town are actually doing well in it. That's it.
I knew that would open up his mouth. I know that
was coming.
There's so many things wrong with it, and I do agree. I like your idea. I think the reason why they won't do it, is simply because they'll go, "Oh, it gives all the big clubs advantages." Well, no,
not
because
really.
big clubs are getting absolutely pumped off mini clubs these days. It protects those clubs as well. So
even with the smaller clubs,
but my question
is, youth academy.
Yeah,
you can phase in players in more positions. It's so much better.
My question is though, right? Because in Serie A, you can name practically a full squad on your bench as well.
Yeah.
So you can have like 11, 12 on your bench plus that. So that's a full setup of on the bench of about 23 players, which is good. You bring up to 30. The maximum you can bring on is 5 substitutions per interval. Are you increasing it to 7 subs a game? Because you can't mathematically throughout the game bring on 12 subs, because then you're getting Arsenal for 15-minute matches for injury time, and then we're all going to hate football.
Exactly.
So what's your increase? Is it 7? Is it 8? How are you basing it? And do you
believe it or not?
On halves?
Bold take. I'm sticking with 5/3 intervals.
Okay, but there's
Reason
more
being,
variety throughout.
Yeah, it stops time wasting. And in addition, the one thing I would change is injuries. You get a free substitution right off the bat, but that has to be physio and 4th official's decoration. Decoration, what a word that is. Oh my God, I'm still used to Christmas. And also in the first half, it doesn't count.
All right, okay, that makes sense.
So that expands it out a little bit, and that also allows protection for injuries where, say, for example, managers, where they're really burning out certain players, that will force them to take them off because they have an opportunity to pretty much replace them and not be punished for it, especially if they've got a knock or something.
But this is why Maresca literally fell out with the board at Chelsea.
Yeah,
because of this kind of thing. The medical staff were making recommendations that he wasn't following. I worry with rules like this, though. I say I worry. That's probably the wrong word about it because it doesn't really concern me. But I think we will really see who's negligent, who's been the poorest in leagues at squad building. Because we have seen teams come up, for example, and spend big money on individual players who, if they get injured, like Wolves when they first came up, or Leeds when they first came up, it was poor squad building. You were seeing them spend 20 to 30 million pounds on individual players, but still have Championship to League One quality backups for the first year.
That's a great comment, Dan. I'll let you answer that one, Nathan, because it is related to yourself. Whereas I just want to confirm as well, in the meantime, again, he is still scoring goals. Christopher Nkunku has equalised for AC Milan from the penalty spot, bang on half-time.
What did the Premier League do to that man, honestly?
Chelsea.
Absolutely.
Also, another thing as well is Bologna came back to win 3-2 against Verona tonight as well.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. James, here's one for you, because I've turned on the wrong channel by accident. Women's FA Cup, West Brom 0, Everton 5 in the 55th minute. James will be bouncing like a Christmas cracker. I had to say that. But go on, mate. This is your this is for you. On you go.
Yeah, for me, I'd keep it. But what I would do, just with the longevity of games, and especially if you're increasing, well, pretty much the number of games they're playing at the moment. In each interval of half time, you get a sub. And also, if you've got subs left over from the actual match, then that carries over the stoppages purely because it stops time wasting. And even though these new reforms have been brought in where it gets added to the clock, we're still seeing it.
Yeah.
And like I was watching Cardiff Wigan the other week, they were time wasting at 1-0 down. They were time wasting for the first 10 minutes.
That's the thing. Why
It's
would you,
scandalous.
if you're 1-0 down, why would you time waste as well? It's weird. I do have a question, and this is something that we've all brought up individually before as well. We've all said we would reform the cup games. Like I said, like I would change the Carabao Cup to group and knockout phase, similar to what they do with the Scottish League Cup up here. Start it during your pre-season because then at least it's competitive for all teams involved, and then you add in. And then we decided, actually, no, what if we just remove any team that are competing in Europe? They're not allowed to compete, which is fair because that reduces fixture congestion for them as well. But my last question, and this is maybe one for you guys as well, is it time, because as much as I like this league phase for the Champions League, is it time that we, like FIFA and UEFA, call upon their international tournaments that are club football and actually reduce them back to, if it's actually the Champions League, it's league champions only, plus the Europa League winner. I know that sounds very much, oh, you're closing it off, but it's called the Champions League. Last time I checked, Arsenal haven't won a league title in 22 years. It can't be the Champions League when Arsenal's involved. That's the participation league. The UEFA Cup, at least you can take part in that, or the Europa League, or whatever they want to call it. I just like
know what? I would have something different. I keep the Champions League as it is, but everyone knows I go back to the group stage format, and that's across all of the tournaments. I would bring back the Cup Winners' Cup. I
mean, technically, that is what the Conference League's for. That's what it is. That's what it is.
But then again, you're getting like 7th in the Premier League in there, and they've got to compete with like the New Saints and stuff from Wales if they can qualify.
Yeah.
I think the Cup Winners' Cup should purely be FA Cup, Scottish Cup, all of those major tournaments for me, you get automatic in there. But if you're in another European competition, it drops down to the runners-up instead of like who's next in the domestic league.
I'm all right with that.
I think it's purely merit for me.
Because I still think the fact is certain leagues are being excluded, like as league champions that are having to enter playoff phase. Like I can't stand Celtic, but I've said it on here before. Celtic won the SPFL last year, but they had to go for a fucking playoff to qualify because every Scottish team fucked up in Europe and the coefficient dropped. The coefficient, in my opinion, should only matter if you're trying to add more teams from your league to the Champions League or European qualification, the champions should still be able to qualify. It's stupid. Like, are certain teams missing out of it? Yes, but it shouldn't be about excluding them. I know why they do it though, but it's ridiculous.
And it also excludes a lot of very good footballing nations that go under the radar. Look at the good amount of good teams in Croatia, Belgium to some extent, Denmark,
Yes.
Poland, very underrated as well. Hungary with Ferencváros, or however you call them, they're another great size.
Absolutely.
Even Greece, for example, loads of great teams, especially in Athens.
At the minute,
they're all being excluded a lot, and that's where you can sort of spread it out and diversify it. For example, Europa League wise, you could even reform it, wild idea, to exclude like the top 6 nations and then really focus on sort of the lower coefficient countries to help get them in the Champions League and progress.
Yeah, I just worry that they don't. Julio, is there any changes you would make? Anything that you would think might? Obviously, this is hypothetical, but is there anything that you would change or you would mold differently?
I would definitely. I like the idea of prioritizing smaller nations because, like you said about Celtic, I'm kind of sick to death of not seeing them in the Champions League, and sick to death of seeing them at playoff phases. Definitely reduce the allocation or different of the top 5 leagues. 4 or 5 teams from the Premier League. No. Definitely
it should
champions.
be free. It should be free for me, if I'm being honest.
I was thinking 2 or 3, depending.
Oh, fuck. I did not do that. Done it itself.
Sorry, my sound cut out. Can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. I think it just muted yourself automatically.
Okay.
That's a first. That's a
I'll
first.
fix my technical difficulties in a moment. What I will finish on simply is that definitely the Cup Winners' Cup had a reason. And I think something like that can be used just away from if it's the FA Cup or League Cup, Europa League qualification. Maybe give it 2 Premier League teams, and then if you win the FA Cup or League Cup and you're not the top 2 teams in the league, then you get Champions League qualification as well.
It's not a bad idea.
That's a very good idea. I got 2 more points to add. One of them is for something I saw on Twitter, which needs to be discussed about FA Cup. And another one I've brought up before, and I can't believe the English FA blocked this, but to grow the game in Wales, personally, I think the big Welsh sides, we have to join back the Welsh Cup, and then whoever wins that gets a punt into Europe for me. Because ultimately, ever since the Cardiff, Swanseas, Wrexhams, Newports, Merthers, ever since we've been excluded from the Welsh Cup in the 90s, obviously European football in Wales has been diabolical, minus TNS qualifying last year, but it will boost attendances. Like, look at the amount of sides that went bust in the noughties and 2010s in the Welsh leagues. I mean, attendances are creeping up in the north, in the south, not so much. But for me, if you get the big clubs back, imagine some of the away days, imagine some of the rivalries, and imagine how much money's going to funnel in to the league. Say, for example, if Cardiff get into the Conference League or the Europa League, for example.
Which we have discussed before. Which we have discussed openly and fairly before. I wanted to bring up Dan's comment because I have a counterpoint to Dan's comment. I just want to see what he thinks, what you lads think as well. So Dan says 3 with possible 4 if you win the Europa League or Domestic Cup. So maintains the Europa League winner still qualifies. So I have a counter proposal. Your league champion automatically qualifies because they've won the league. They deserve it.
Yeah.
By that point, 2nd and 3rd must go through the playoff phases. They must go into 2nd place goes into the 3rd qualifying round. 3rd place goes into the round before it. So you actually have them like a round earlier, and they still have to qualify.
Yeah.
But they only get trumped if the same team that finishes 2nd wins the FA Cup, they go straight to the Champions League as well as a domestic cup winner. Or they go into the Europa League, whatever we decide, like however you base it on. But if you have the Europa League winner in the league, instead of 3 qualifying teams, the team that finishes 3rd swaps out with the Europa League winner. The Europa League winner goes into the Champions League, which then equals just 3 spots for the Premier League.
Yep.
And then that means that club who would have been in the Champions League, similar to what happened with, unfortunately, sorry, James, I have to bring this up, similar to Everton and Liverpool in 2006 when they finished fourth, but obviously Liverpool didn't even get close, but they won the most disgusting Champions League final of all time. So in reality, if they still win the Europa League, they replace the third qualifying team. They've worked hard to get there, but rightly so, the Europa League winner takes the place because they've won a European competition.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, gents?
I do like it. The only thing that I will say is it's a great idea and it will reduce the games, but I don't think UEFA are in the position to do it anymore purely because of money.
Unfortunately.
100%. I was thinking that.
Because it massively reduces the amount of football, amount of sponsorships, everything.
Yeah.
Papa Perez is not going to be happy. He's going to be he's going to be running all sorts. Because the thing with Real Madrid is their league record is poor, but their Champions League record is incredible. And I don't want to start saying that teams are entitled to the Champions League, but you know, Real Madrid do have a good success rate in the Champions League in the last 10 years, and they're not going to be happy with. I'm not saying let's cater just certain teams because they're European royalty, but at the same time, like, it's one of those things because Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester City have won the Champions League more recently than Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So, like, entitlement is, do you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, it's just all about money, and they're not going to do that. I hate the league format. I do hate it because I do like the jeopardy coming into the last two games. You know, will you qualify? Will you not? Just as easily, but reducing the number of games for me is important.
Yeah.
Another
thing that I will say, and this is going back to, this is something I saw on Twitter actually, and it's in relation to the FA Cup. I'm not sure if you guys saw it.
Just make a knockout phase from the start.
It's a good idea. But yeah, FA Cup wise, I think this will give too much an advantage to the top teams, but there's so many nuances with it that I don't like about this. Premier League teams being seeded all have to have away ties for a lower league opposition.
I said that as well.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but it cuts out all of the away days for the smaller clubs,
and they must be
also makes it less competitive.
They must be televised as well. I've just seen something here
That's
as
another
well.
Big problem I have, especially with this weekend. BT have got too much of a monopoly on it.
Yeah, I've just seen something here as well. This is it's not official as a transfer has been completed, but breaking news: Celtic have made an inquiry to sign West Ham striker Callum Wilson.
Do Celtic need another striker?
He's a free agent now, isn't he? I think he left West Ham a couple of weeks ago.
He's still I think, but they're saying still West Ham, but potentially he may have just left. But yeah, I think it's because they couldn't. I think it's because they couldn't get Kyogo back.
True, but on the other hand, with Celtic, you still got Maeda, you still got Kelechi Iheanacho when he comes back from injury, and you still got Kenny. As far as I'm concerned, that's enough to at least win an SPFL title,
which they won't,
especially not this season. No.
Especially not after the fact Rangers have pumped in 10 million quid in January alone.
True.
I don't think anything happens until after the Hearts game for Celtic in terms of January business. I think Martin O'Neill didn't have the Hearts game, so I think they will properly review, because that for me is a statement match for both sides about their title chances this season. And I think if Celtic miss out, if they lose that game or drop points or whatever, then they go into that Wilson deal or probably to the end of the season.
They're trying to sign a Rangers midfield target as well, Silas Anderson, big Swedish midfield. They're trying to sign him as well. I don't think Rangers are going to let it happen. They've already signed a left back. They've already signed Skov Olsen from Wolfsburg, which
good signing.
A crazy loan deal, and they're going to get him for nearly half what Wolfsburg spent as well as an obligation to buy, which is absolutely brilliant.
I'm shocked at that deal, to be honest.
This is what's frustrating with Celtic as well. Minus the injuries, I see nothing wrong with that squad and where it needs to be improved. Potentially a centre-back you could look at. Goalkeeper, definitely. I really rate Kasper Schmeichel, but he is massively dropped off a stone. But midfield's really strong. I mean, Engels is probably the most inconsistent footballer I've ever seen.
He is so bad.
I rate him at times. That's where it's a bit mad.
He gives me Toran the Flow vibes in terms of expensive. Expensive does nout. But I actually think as well, because Rangers have got Hearts still to play as well. Rangers have beat Aberdeen there as well. Rangers are the most informed team in Scotland as well. I don't think you have seen this. Like, since Danny Rose took in charge,
he's doing it right.
14 league matches, plus 18 goal difference, 35 points won in the league since he took charge.
James is right.
Nah, the biggest mistake was not sacking Nancy. They should have kept him.
Knew that was coming.
He was doing good. But, like, 35 points in the league. The second best team in the league based on form since Danny Rose taken over was Motherwell. Then it's Hibs. Then it's Hearts. Then it's Celtic. That's the major change in the league. And if obviously a league is not one based on form tables, but right now, the fact that they've went and spent big money as well, unless they get crazy injuries or they somehow lose to Celtic, I don't think Rangers will fail to win the league. I said at the start of the season I didn't think Rangers would because of the absolute muppet in charge. And hold that, Josiah, hold that. AC Milan 2, Como 1, hold that, biatch.
Knew that was coming.
Just watching this again, but looking like 10 minutes into the second half, Milan have regained the lead. Oh, what do you know? It's a certain Adrian Rabiot with the goal. Julio will be getting all happy in a minute because he likes Rabiot. He likes him that much that he wants his ponytail. But, unless there's cataclysmic injuries or anything else like that, I actually think Rangers are going to take the league. But Martin O'Neill's coming back in. They should give him the job for at least 18 months, in my opinion.
I'd give him until next summer because that gives Celtic a proper time to reset, get everything in order, because they should have never got rid of him, especially with how well he was doing. And we all knew that Nancy deal was just going to fall through the floor. But really, they need to build a philosophy because after next season, it's going to be a rebuild anyway. So get it in now is my opinion.
Oh, massively. What do you know? He's actually... I did say he could join us.
What legends.
Wait, when his internet pops up, it's like Liverpool. It's hot and cold. Yeah. 10 minutes into the second half. We'll just wait for him, mate. I like the fact they've got the wavy background on. Hello, mate.
How are we doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Not bad. Just watching the Como Milan games.
You mean your exact words to me were watching the Como masterclass?
Yeah, because at the time they were playing very well.
You're watching the Don Allegri masterclass, my friend.
Well, it appears to be so now.
Oh yeah, of course. Obviously, for you guys that don't know him, if you haven't watched, like Josiah is one of my regulars on my channel as well. He's one of my co-hosts as well for my wrestling shows. But he is a Liverpool fan, so he has a bad taste in football. But he will have a laugh with James over club rivalries. But it is good to see Josiah. So obviously Nathan off camera. Well, he should be on camera now because he said he'd be on camera at 9 o'clock.
True.
He's 5 minutes late. And obviously Julio down the bottom beside you as well. But welcome to the World of Football podcast, my friend.
Thank you. I've been following the conversation, and it's been very interesting to say the least.
Well, you're actually a good one for yourself, mate. Considering with African Cup of Nations, you obviously have a team over there as well. I want to ask you, what was your thoughts?
Well, we weren't actually in it. We're not actually in AFCON, to be fair.
Well, they're not in it, but you still have at least some relevant ties to that.
Yeah,
matters. So to actually get a very prominent opinion, what is your thoughts on what we said earlier about the game and how things are with it?
Okay, so my take on it is you can look at it in two ways. I do see the whole it damages the growth of football in the continent and all the stuff that comes with that, with it going to every 4 years. But at the same time, I do also kind of like how they're doing it in terms of player welfare, because now it seems like it's like they're going to be playing less frequently than they would be when you consider the international football as well as all the club football that we've got.
Yeah,
True.
I think the Premier League needs to reduce its clubs. I know I've said that, but a few other leagues need to increase the teams, but I do think the Premier League has to drop to 18, because that'll at least remove some fixtures.
I think that the Premier League should move to 18 as well, because if you think about it, apart from this season, it's pretty much the 3 teams that go up, go down. So there's no real point in having 20. If basically every 2 years you're having the same 20 teams in the league.
Exactly. To be fair, we slag off the stripper clubs all the time. Well, I do especially, but I would like to see 18. Like, it's just how they do it, but it depends on the other leagues as well. Like, I think some of the other leagues have to drop numbers. Like the Championship has to drop numbers as well, because the amount of games they play is over excessive.
But 46 is way too many.
And on top of that as well, but you got, for example, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and even then, like League 1 and 2.
And then they got playoffs as well.
Teams, and you got playoffs, Pizza Cup, friendlies. It's just ridiculous.
And this is going to be an even bigger thing. This is going to be an even bigger thing this year as well, given how many Premier League teams have been knocked out of the FA Cup by these lower league teams.
Massively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that it does say a lot in terms of like the growth in the league and the welfare and the enjoyment of football, but it really is embarrassing that they love to come out and say, "Oh, we want to find new ways to improve the game," but at the same time, they're destroying the talent, and if you keep destroying it, you're gonna lose football fans from becoming football players. They'll just walk away.
Yes.
So it's even more painful. Now, of course, I have promised him the centerfold because he has a rant of his own. Not me. It's not Nathan. He's realised, oh shit, he means me. Bottom
you could see the clock just working in my head and the cog, and then it's like, what? You saw the buffering thing, and then you realise, oh, we're there. You saw the light bulb.
I've just seen Nathan's chat as well. No worries, mate. That's fine. We are going to do one thing that Julio has asked. It's one of the major discussions tonight, but Julio has his own words on it. We are going to talk interims.
Dun, dun, dun.
For feck's sake is all I'm going to say, but let's just make it more official. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Get me in the center screen and let me drop this down a bit. Hold on. Actually, hold on. Let me just turn that off. There we go. We can still view your chat, but for the minute, just because he did ask for center stage, he's got a few things he does want to bring up. So, Julio, interims again. Unfortunately, our club, we may as well just call ourselves Interim Chester FC, or Interim Chester United at this rate. But again, it's not just the fact that clubs are taking the interim route. It seems to be becoming even more prominent in football that it's actually destroying the opportunities for permanent managers to walk straight into a job. What is your thoughts on interim managers and the current state of our fucking disaster of a football club as well with another interim?
I mean, in United's case, there's two ways to look at it. Not just with who they went for in the end. I will go into obviously what I think about. Sorry.
That's all right.
I think Michael Carrick obviously been announced. Obviously, the fan base is in a bit of a malaise right now. Normally, when you get an interim, there's a bit of a feel good bounce.
Yeah.
The energy, thinking right, new face. It could be good, but I don't know with this one. Like it doesn't feel like that this time, because I think obviously we've just had 2 games of Darren Fletcher. A draw away at Burnley. And, we got knocked out of the FA Cup by Brighton. And even though that's the case, we're still well poised in the league because everyone around us is floating, inconsistent, dropping points. I said last week, this league isn't competitive. It's just crap.
It is.
And when you look at the fixture list, we've got Arsenal and City next. And, we don't even know what the plan is. Are we reinvesting in January? What does this team look like in a month?
They have came out and said, but I don't know if the reports are actually legit, if they're going to do it. But they say with Champions League qualification a possibility and the only target they have left, they are not going to spend.
Which is stupid, in my opinion, because we could just as easily be sitting here in a month's time and saying 12th, 13th, we're looking desperate again.
And then what's the point giving Carrick the job?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm getting Rangnick feels of when we brought Rangnick in on the interim and he started bringing these coaches with him, and I'm seeing people say it's good that we've got a fresh face that knows the club, but still, like, it doesn't feel like, and I'm just like, no, it feels like we've given a management setup for 6 months when that's not feasible. The interim job is always different to an actual proper full-time management job. And I'm going to put a video out on my channel, not just what I think about Michael Carrick's appointment, but actually what I think about an interim appointment is like and is about, because it's so different to the full-term gig. Yeah. Now, I think, he had a decent enough spell at Borough, but we saw the issues at Borough, and Borough fans will tell you the same things. He can be stubborn, the in-game management can be questionable, and sometimes it feels like he doesn't shift quickly enough when the game changes. Yeah. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen here, because managing Middlesbrough doesn't translate to managing United. Different pressure, different personnel, different resources could go either way. Borough did sell their better players and not replace them properly at times. And I say at times, just because they did invest at times. And that kind of thing can derail a manager. But I'm not going to lie, some of the descriptions sound a little bit of PTSD inducing based on what we've just watched at United. So, for me at the minute with Carrick, it's wait and see, not blind optimism. But for me, the biggest issue right now is January, because it's the squad. Carrick isn't the biggest issue. It's the ownership and the squad. Mm-hmm. Because I'm looking at rivals being proactive. And United, we're in a more desperate position and we're still being hesitant. I get January's hard because paying a premium, clubs don't want to sell, players need convincing. But we have holes in this team. Like, we keep seeing names of Wharton, Anderson, Baleba. And we were seeing links with Semenyo. And I think the part that people aren't clocking is we lost a significant amount of money already this season from not being in Europe and not being in cup competitions anymore.
Yes.
Ticket revenue, TV money, general match day income, gone. And this ownership already looks like they're penny pinching. Plus, they're trying to undo the Glazer era mess. How financially healthy are we actually going to be in the summer? Because we don't want to operate in a vacuum. If we sleepwalk through January, we'll be out of the European League race, scraping Conference League at best, or nothing at all. And some people will say, I'd rather know Europe. But Europe is an olive branch into recruitment. And without it, you pay higher wages, you pay the United tax, you end up overbidding again, and we're in the same cycle. And what's frustrating is when we go deeper, we spend £120 million on profiles like Cunha and Mount. But to be honest, what is their best position? They're half and half players. They're very quickly being elephants in the room. They float between 10s and 9.5s and wide midfielders, inside forwards. They're not pure creators, not true wingers, not strikers. And when you're constantly... People didn't believe me when I said Cunha was more of a system signing than Dorgu. And we're seeing that now. Yes. I don't think you get the best of Cunha unless you move Bruno Fernandes somewhere else, or you play a system that plays 2 10s, and you can still lose out on, where the likes of Mbeumo can play and whatever. And then you look at the knock-on effects. You change your managers, change your formations. We're back with the square pegs in round holes. You sell Garnacho, you sell Rashford. rightly or wrongly, where's the left winger in this team? Our only two wingers are Ahmad and Mbeumo. They're both right wingers.
I think they're both going to start as well. I
Yeah.
actually have a feeling Carrick's going to play both, and Cunha might drop to the bench.
He's almost got no choice because that's the only wingers we've got. And, you know, United are so good at fixing problems that we seem to create three more while we're doing it. You know, he's not got the easiest start, but this is about Ineos because it feels like they're winging it at the minute, making up as they go along. They're being reactive, not proactive.
I think the whole ownership has to go. Otherwise, nobody can really change under both Ineos and the Glazers. Like, it just seems to be a constant peril that won't change. But this is a great comment as well from James as well. To be honest, I wouldn't trust your recruitment team after the dross you brought the last several years, apart from Cunha and Mbeumo, who are at least trying to make an impact. Even Sesko right now, Sesko is scoring, but is that purely because he's been given a little bit of freedom? But how long is that going to last?
He's been given freedom, but for me, he's been a bit of a flop with the way he's been playing.
Yeah,
I've expected a lot more from him, to be honest.
I think
I didn't.
I think
I didn't.
I think till the end of the season, his best chance is, we don't know who the new permanent manager is. Between now and the end of the season, Cunha has to get well into the 15 goal mark.
Yeah.
Not because it's about bringing a return back on the money he was invested in. He has to convince whoever the next manager is that we don't need to then go and spend more money on another striker, which is another problem at this football club.
Especially with the lack of like true strikers on the market at the minute as well.
Yeah.
Like goal scorers. I mean, like 10 years ago, loads of choice. Now, good luck.
There isn't I actually argue that there's not a lot of elite strikers anymore, unless you're, unfortunately, Harry Kane. If you're Lewandowski, if you're like a Lautaro Martinez or converted Ousmane Dembele. But the best attackers, in my opinion, right now are like inside forwards.
Yeah.
Like it seems to be the new meta in football. Like, forget your aura pish. Like, it's simple. Like, the whole new method of football is, and it's actually a more relevant word, it's the current meta. What is actually changing? It was the 3-4-3 for 5 years. It was the 4-3-3 with positional play. It was a 4-2-3-1, either deep low block, or you play high press system prevalent, or it's 4-4-2 counter ball, or Arsene Wenger just touching everybody at the side with his Welsh imitations, that he did do, by the way. There's an interview of him doing a Welsh imitation. It's really funny. But there's all that shit out there. But it's the meta, and the current meta is either a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-1-2 with split strikers with a number 10, or it's inside forwards with a main man up front who drops deep. The number 10 has disappeared from football, which I fucking hate. It's going to be in the next 3 years, mark my words, within the next 3 years, the number 6 position will die.
Yeah.
Josiah's internet's killed him. In the next couple of years, the number 6 position will die. And if anybody wants to call me out on that, I guarantee I'll be right. We are literally at that fault. And I'll tell you what else is another thing that has to die. The number 6 doesn't have to die, but playing out from the back has to die.
Yes.
Ball playing goalkeepers must be executed on the spot.
Managers like Russell Martin and Scott Parker need to be executed on the spot.
Well, that and anyone who's Spanish, no offense.
Even Antonio Raiola.
Anyone who dresses nicely to overcompensate for how crap they are.
Correct. So that's not Raiola, because we know that he doesn't dress smartly. He just dresses like a man. So Raiola is okay. But yeah, the whole building out from the back, even the Germans to a degree have to change it. Like the Italians have to change it. Like going away from brought you to the dance is what ruins you. Like even England, to be fair, England are playing well under Thomas Tuchel. But England playing out from the back, they look clunky. It doesn't work. No worries, brother. No worries. It's good seeing you.
But Tuchel himself is different now. The Bayern job changed him. Before Tuchel, we saw him high press attacking football at Dortmund. He started with that at PSG, then became more possession based. And then obviously at Chelsea was something a little bit different. And then at Bayern, the guy seems so obsessive with control and possession now. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that. I know the Bayern job was weird. It really didn't ruin him, but it made me like not like what he was becoming.
And then all of a
Because I
sudden
was
people
like,
say
look
he's not
what
a
you
good
did
manager
before.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what the hell? Because I know what this guy can do, and I know what he's. What I love about him is how adaptable he was at different clubs. He did something different, and then goes to Bayern. He's so obsessed with control and whatever, and it's like, don't go away from what you were so good at before.
Yeah.
The other thing, I want to make a point as well about the whole interim thing as well, because obviously we're discussing it now. Because like I said already, the interim thing is different. Is a different interim management is a different job, right? And I put a tweet out last week. Or no worries, Nathan. Have a good one, mate. I put a tweet out the other week, and I'm pretty sure Reece, you probably looked at it and thought, what is this guy on about? But I said that when Ollie got the job the first time round, right, regardless of whether I thought it was right or wrong, I wanted him to be our Heinkes really badly.
Mhm.
Not because I think they're the same, and not because I think they're both elite and they're both on the same level, but it was the case of there was a couple of things. There was a couple of things I saw in the interim where I thought, you know what, they resemble. Not to say he's that, but it's because interim management is different. You know, the reason I would have had Ollie come back is not because he's some elite level tactician, not because he's the long-term solution, but he's already proven before he can create an immediate swing in morale, role clarity, and results without needing months of tactical installation.
Yeah.
You know, because the dopamine of a glamorous appointment, granted, it feels like progress, even when the outcome says the opposite.
Yeah.
But he was really good as a short-term stabilizer because he changed after he got the permanent job.
Yeah.
He's not trying to turn the squad into a tactical laboratory. You need three things.
He retreated.
He needs, like, to break it down, interim management is not about building like a good philosophy or anything. It's just stopping the bleeding fast. It's about getting the team functional again quickly by solving three things: morale, because performance collapses when belief collapses; role clarity, because players can't execute what they don't understand; and then thirdly, game state discipline, because even a broken team can still points if it stops beating itself. And the reason why most interims fail is because they treat it like summer appointments, when really, they ask them to install a new system this season when the squad is psychologically fractured, physically overloaded, tactically confused, which happened with Ranić when he came in. But when you successful interims, there's two in my head: Gus Hiddink, Jupp Heynckes. Chelsea didn't become a tactical invention; they just became an emotionally stable and structurally clear team. And then Heynckes, no theatre, no project, just competence, authority, simplification. The mission was achieved. And that's the interim archetype that works. Stabilizer with leverage, not revolutionary. Sometimes, interim can become permanent, like Hansi Flick. But even Flick didn't win because he arrived with a manifesto. He won because he created instant clarity and got the squad playing free. That's the real interim superpower. And I always say the vibes or counterattack was kind of lazy as a narrative because it was just flexibility. He prioritized player comfort, attacking freedom, and emotional momentum. Whether that makes him elite manager or not, regardless, counter-attacking wasn't the full identity. It was a weapon against teams like City or PSG. The change, what we saw wasn't some amazing, innovative tactical thing. It was change of players looked like they had permission again. Tempo rises, risk-taking returns, attackers run harder. But we got a huge injury list because of the change in what we were doing. The entire team looked like they had oxygen, but that's not aesthetics. It's just psychology. And I think that is a primary currency. Trust comes from specifics. And I think what he did was he just simplified instructions, used the familiar structure, and gave attackers flexible reference points in roles suited to their skill sets. In football manager language, you're looking at maybe a less rigid duty map and more a front line where roles can blend, a 10 who can float, not be handcuffed, security first midfield, then creativity. And United isn't a clean room environment. The Premier League is too fast and physical and adaptive for fragile systems to be installed mid-season. Cough, cough, Ruben Amorim. Which is why fantasy appointments are dangerous. But, I think he's not a Ollie wasn't a micro tactical invention. It wasn't elite, but he was just maintaining morale, managing confidence, and getting players to perform near their ceiling.
Yes.
Which is why I would have had him back. I understand the reasons for not taking him back, because the board can't afford to make mistakes, especially if they're past mistakes.
Yeah.
Ollie winning at PSG, that was almost an unavoidable mistake.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't going to be him, we were probably going to get Pochettino.
Probably.
So he was the cheaper option, and I'm not being funny, but the ceiling probably would have been the same either way. But Pochettino, for me, is more elite than Ollie. However, like I've already said, here's the blueprint for interims, re-establish a simple match model with what you got, minutes with intention, and even recruitment alignment, if there is going to be recruitment.
Yeah.
So for me, it's I would have taken Ollie back as like a logical, as opposed to a romantic. None of this last dance nonsense. None of this. Just because he comes in, we saw what he did in his interim. I wasn't expecting a 13-game unbeaten run if he did come back in.
Yeah.
But what I was expecting was he just come in and keep it simple, just lift the mood. That's literally all you need to do as an interim. And I worry with Carrick coming in, his 4 games were quite good tactically when he last did an interim gig. The interim before the interim.
Yeah.
But I worry this might become another Ranić in the sense of he's going to try and implement something. Now, if Carrick is smart, he won't do that, and he'll just keep it simple. Basically, I think if Carrick plays, he'll probably play a 4-2-3-1. But if I was him, I'd play a diamond in midfield, 4 at the back.
Yeah.
It's because the 2-striker formation, actually, we saw Carlo do it at Real Madrid when Jude first came in, and you had Rodrigo and Vinicius as 2 split strikers who obviously spread out wide.
Rodrigo carried that team as well, which I will continue to reiterate, because Vinicius Jr. is a bitch.
Carlo Ancelotti kept it simple, which is why he'd be one of, if not the prime candidate for me in the summer, because he just come in, get results, and keep it simple. That's why Heinkes was so successful at Bayern. He was always the fixer on an interim, and then they gave him the job, and he became a treble winner. Gus Hiddink's first interim spell at Chelsea.
It was really good.
Honestly, I would have called either of those.
He only lost one game.
Interim.
He only lost one game, and that was against Barcelona, a game they should never have lost.
They didn't even lose that. They drew that 1-1.
I know, but it was technically a loss.
I know it's technically a loss, but when you deep it, and they won a trophy as well.
True.
And Chelsea fans and players begged him to stay, but he didn't.
Yeah. That's a fair point as well, Nathan. That's a great one. You could also play... Yeah, that's true.
Ineos can't keep writing off seasons as well.
Any ownership must never write off seasons.
Yeah. It's 2 years in a row we're writing off a season halfway through the season. And like I said to you last week, Barada had this idea of winning the league by 2028. You can't afford to it can't be a case of get it wrong the first 2 years and hopefully recover. You've got to have a plan.
They have to have an
elite. Half of it.
They have to have an elite manager with complete free role to do what he needs to do with no interference. Josiah, bringing you into the centrefold, the big man with a smile on his face down. But you are one of a rare breed. You, sir, are a Liverpool fan that doesn't like Arne Slot. Someone who actually has his head screwed on straight. So, yourself, your club, at the minute still have your permanent manager. You could end up with an interim, depending on what happens if you end up sacking your manager. But what is your overall thoughts on? But what are your overall thoughts on the interim managers? Not particularly like your club's biggest rivals, but just in general. What is your thoughts right now on interim managers?
I feel like it kind of depends on the situation and the ambitions of the club that's employing the interim. Because if it's a club that will obviously be open to and accepting of interim managers proving themselves and getting the job permanently, then I would be in favour of that. However, if it's just the case of we're giving you the job to steady the ship until the next manager comes in. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Do you also, James is putting there about like how clubs must, like the stupid logic that every club has to play like Guardiola, but like, do you find that's also a major problem in football as well? Like, everyone just seems to adopt this philosophy because I'm sick of it myself.
Yeah. I think that's a novelty that we should have moved on from years ago. Then.
Do you ever think that actually could be coming to an end, or you think it won't? It'll carry on? Because I actually wonder if they'll ever move away.
Well, I think that we have moved away from that, but unfortunately, just for the worst in terms of the way teams play now.
I agree. I think we are coming away from it, but I think we've got too many students in the game currently who are doing that, so they're going to still keep doing it. But I do agree, we're seeing a lot like come away from it, and I think we're seeing a lot of good football that has been played, like PSG last season, very good football. I think some of the best football I've watched in the past 10, 15 years that hasn't been possession-based football.
Praise a good manager that's not Pep and his internet wanted to hate him. That's horrible internet. That's horrible behaviour. But yeah, carry on. But it's the right, for me, it's the right type of manager that makes sense. Like I prefer his football to Pep's every day of the week. Carry on, Julio. Carry on.
I was going to say, like, I think on interims as well, actually, I think this comment actually makes a fair point, but it's like, how many interim managers have we had in the last 10 years?
Giggs, Solskjaer, Rangnick, Carrick twice, 5.
Rude and Fletcher as well.
So 7.
So it's becoming a bit of a frequent joke, if I'm being honest. I understand the notion of, okay, well, we're going to do our due diligence and look for a better appointment in the summer. You shouldn't have made a crap appointment in the first place. How am I supposed to trust this current board in making a good appointment when they already messed up once or twice, if you include keeping Ten Hag, after shopping around Europe, fumbling good managers like Tuchel, and deciding actually let's keep Ten Hag and spending money for him, right?
Yeah.
Like I said on my channel when Amram was sacked, I'm just an accounting graduate who lives at home and is just doing a vlog in the study in his house, right? How could I, months and months and months ago, see that it was naive to hire a manager like Amram mid-season who plays one-dimensional football, can't adapt in-game as well as maybe his reputation suggested, and he needs 11 to 15 new players to fit what he wants, and he can't platform what's currently there, and he's very limited tactically to be able to adapt to what he's got tactically and tweak it and adjust to platform what's there. Like, you should have seen that coming.
Should have.
There was the one guy in the building who said no, got sacked for it. And Ashworth was right and wrong in what he was saying, which was, yes, Premier League proven. Yes, Amram wasn't the right choice for the squad or anything.
Yeah.
But he was wrong to
suggest Southgate.
I don't know much about those briefs, but I know he did suggest Howe, Thomas Frank, and Marco Silva. And whilst I agree it's right to go Prem proven or whatever, not having a definitive name out of those 3 is a problem for me, because 1, those aren't the 3 I would have gone for given the magnitude of the job, and 2, if you can't give a straight answer for one of them, if you're sitting there saying, well, these are my options, but I don't know, then that's not good enough.
Twiddling thumbs, mate.
It's not good enough. So
it's 3-1 Milan, by the way.
Yeah. It's actually a really nice goal as well. I've just seen it there. Rabiot second as well.
Nice. But it's just, I find it ridiculous how we've wasted 14 months with a manager, and it was when he got angry in a press conference that we got rid of him, not because of the results.
That's something I said last week. And I stand firmly on this. A manager should be allowed to come out.
That felt very reactionary.
Yeah.
It was
For me-
reactionary from both parties, I think. Both the manager for doing that, because I think he was planning on resigning anyway, and he thought, actually,
Oh
let me
yeah,
get my pay packet. And then, because what I say is the manager failed himself and Man United, but the board failed him as well. I've said before that you got a guy who needs wing backs and sixes, and not signing any when there's no good partnership in either position is malpractice.
you can't bring in a manager. Like I said it last week as well. Technically, like no football team actually needs a. I've argued this before, and I said it to you last week as well on the show. That you look at Amorim's system. I've seen 3-4-3s that didn't require specialist players. It just requires good man management. It requires good tactical nous. And then there's some free at the back systems that does require specialist players. I mean,
there's no scalability.
Yes, which,
for that manager, there's no scalability because you need to understand. Like I said last week, your blueprint's not going to be fulfilled 100%. So you need to be able to work. You need to show some kind of. This is why I respect managers like Conte.
That's a great point. That's a great point as well,
great
James.
Tactical acumen.
That's another great point. It's just head coach.
But they're not even good coaches.
No,
because they can't work with what's there. This here is not sustainable, in my opinion. Like I hate seeing those tweets. It took Arteta, Klopp, Fergie 5 years to get it right.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work in this modern era.
We're in an era now where you need results quicker, and there's more money to get you to those results quicker. And also, Klopp showed signs of progress. We did
very quickly.
Everyone was talking about, but we're creating more chances. We're scoring more goals. We're
leaking.
sixth. Right, okay. But we were based on the data, we were on course to concede our most goals in the Premier League era this season, if we stuck with Amorim to the end of the season. Now I think they would have kept Amorim to the end of the season and then got rid of him. Personally.
If he hadn't opened his mouth. If he kept his mouth shut in that way. Yeah. But
then he did that. And I always think it's a red flag when in 14 months, there are many times where this geezer comes out in press conferences and goes, either I was thinking of resigning a few months ago, or if they don't want me, I'll walk away for free. You didn't though, did you?
If a manager says that, that's another thing for me. I firmly stand on
this.
They
preach to the these young hipster managers preach to the gallery too much. Just shut up and get on with it, please.
If a manager comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I consider resigning," they should have been hauled into the office by their chief exec or their whoever they.
It's not a good look for the.
They should go and they should haul them in and
for the manager himself, for the board. If you can't cut it, you shouldn't be in this job.
Yeah, and it is a problem, and it's funny enough that we have actually got Josiah on the channel as well, because you look at his club this season. He's been calling them out all season for how shit they are, but it's the same sort of things that Liverpool fans are saying. Oh no, it's not all Slot's fault. Well, it is, because Liverpool have only had one good game all season, and it was the game against Frankfurt, which conveniently they played the system that I said in another channel at the start of the season that they should be playing anyway. This season, Liverpool should be playing a diamond four-man midfield because they haven't got wingers anymore.
I think as well. I agree with that. And also, they front-loaded so much. The board failed Slot because they front-loaded so much. They still had deficiencies in the midfield and in defence, and they didn't actually replace those. And I was really hoping with some of that they wouldn't, so that they can be
same as where we are.
And we saw it the first week of the season, which is why I criticize Arteta, because how the hell did you have 2 games to Liverpool, drop 5 points, and not go after them when they're probably at their weakest in a few years? You idiots.
Because they're crap as well.
Exactly.
Like Arsenal are not a good team.
Oh yeah, I've called them out regularly about how shit they are. I don't
Still,
rate
though, as a manager, when you've got certain players, surely you think, right, let's go for them.
Scumbags.
And then again, Arteta's not a good manager.
Idiots. Exactly, idiot.
He the worst thing as well, I actually seen something the other day. It's quite funny that it's a parody account, right? Well, it says it's a parody account, but I'm starting to think it's not. They claim they're not a parody account. Unfortunately, they're called Russell with one L, so at least my name is safe. But this is an Arsenal. Yeah,
like, I'm telling you, if Arsenal win the league this season, Arteta will be the worst manager to ever win the Premier League.
Oh, what do you know? Wait, is this a legit source? El Parte Dazo de Cop, a Spanish news outlet, and they've posted Florentino Perez reportedly wants Jose Mourinho to return to Real Madrid. Now, who did I say yesterday should get the Madrid job?
In fairness, I would say this link always happens. So
I know, but I still like the fact.
Watch this space.
I still said it.
Mourinho shouldn't go back there though, because he would fall up with every single person in that team very quickly.
I want him to go there just to kill Mbappe and Vinicius Junior for half price.
If it was Mourinho, Jesus Christ.
Vinicius Junior would probably be the first to go if he went there.
He is a fucking weak-minded football player. He is so weak. Anyway, where's this tweet that this moron posted? Because honestly, it's just funny.
I agree with what Josiah said though. If Arteta wins the league, because I don't think Arteta's ceiling is high enough to warrant a Premier League title. Because I think if Arteta left Arsenal tomorrow, what job does he get? I don't think he gets a top job anywhere. I think the most he gets is probably Everton after Moyes. I think he'd be good at building teams that could maybe creep into the top four on a fluke. But this is a manager who, out of the last 4 races he's been in, he's bottled 3 of them. And last year they didn't even turn up for the title race.
Yeah.
So not good enough, in my opinion. He's had plenty of chances to warrant. And I think Arsenal fans forget the managers can have ceilings, and Arteta is that guy. And this is just ridiculous.
So this is the ding dong who claims that he's a bit. He definitely thinks he's a parody account. I'm starting to think he's not.
This has to be rage bait, surely. This has to be rage bait.
It gets
has to be interaction.
Well, so he's the best manager in the world because he's not lost to Chelsea in 7 years, please.
I think it's funny how they say London will forever be red.
Been in their banter era.
It's funny how this other tweet here says London will forever be red. Yeah, when Manchester United comes to town, but London is blue because Chelsea's the biggest club in London.
No,
just saying.
And even if by some miracle Arsenal win the Champions League this season, Chelsea will still be the biggest club in London because they've got another one.
And Chelsea have got every single trophy. Chelsea have got every single trophy known to football kind that you can win, except one trophy that they've not yet competed in.
Chelsea's band era has seen.
Which one's that?
Than Arteta's last.
Zubamendi apparently is the best defensive midfielder in the world.
He's not.
Okay, hold on. Which trophy? Which competition have Chelsea not competed in yet for them to have not won?
So they've won the Conference League, they've won the Champions League, they've won the Europa League, they've won it when they were.
They've even won the Club World Cup now.
They've not won the Intercontinental Cup because that's
they have when it was the old Club World Cup format is basically what the Continental Club is now. So they have won that.
They've got 2 though. That's the thing. They've made it distinct 2, and the only winners.
They've got the old one. They've got the old one, which technically is what the Intercontinental Cup is now, and then obviously they've got the new one that no one cares about.
This has got to be one of the worst posts I've ever seen. That Henry Winter, not just the goal, it's all Zubamendi's work, patrolling in front of the back 4, tackling, intercepting, keeping the shape, dovetailing with Rice, launching attacks, being at Arsenal only 6 months. Looks like 6 years he's at home.
Can I ask you to do something for me? Can you actually go find Henry Winter tweeting that?
I'm actually so tempted, but I'm still looking at these. I'm just looking at all these. These are Arsenal fans. Don't
get me wrong, by the way. I think Zubamendi played well last night, but he showed to me that going forward he's all right, but in his own half he's not that good. So he's not that good of a defensive midfielder. I think if Arteta wants to shore out the league, he has to play Rice and Zubamendi together as a pivot, as a double pivot.
This is when you know that your big club status unfortunately takes a hit. There's losing to Arsenal, and then there's conceding to Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Like, conceding to Yokozuna is not a good look. Jesus Christ. Oh, like,
do you know, I don't know.
Fuck this. I've had enough.
Get him off here.
If I'm being honest,
I'm going straight.
No. Because to be fair, they're gonna say he's not a striker.
All right, fine. Hold on then. There's only one that works. I've had enough.
I was going to say Isak because he's Swedish as well.
Show me a better striker than Gyökeres. Put Osimhen in there, if I'm being honest. I know he's playing in Turkey, but I'd rather have Osimhen than Gyökeres.
Get
And
your
I said that
Ekitike,
on
he scored more goals than him.
Ekitike. I'm going to die on this hill. Ekitike is a better player than Isak.
Even Voldemort is better than Gyökeres.
They think the dream's going to happen. Fuck off.
But you know what's crazy?
They're not going to win. They're not going to win anything. Then.
Arsenal fans stuck their noses up for years at the FA Cup or the League Cup because they want to win the majors, right? And now they're gassing up winning a semi-final in one of the cups.
Well, to be fair, they never turned their noses up.
I don't care.
They never turned their noses up at the FA Cup though, because that's their trophy. Apparently, that's the only thing that they're capable of winning.
Manager didn't go past the 5th round since he won it.
Yep, they finished 3.
And that wasn't even his squad. That was.
They finished 3.
It wasn't even squad. Exactly. I think.
Let me just say for 2 seconds whilst I go look for Henry.
Every time they got knocked out of a competition, got bigger fish to fry. No, you don't.
Literally every time, anytime that Arteta doesn't have, ever since he's had a squad of his own, they've not won anything.
Yeah, their fans were actually saying, "Oh, even if he doesn't win a trophy, it's okay, because we're getting better and better." I was like, "Well, so you should go and play badminton then." Which is, let's see, can we find that tweet? Oh, there it is. He did tweet it. Oh God Almighty, the glazing. I mean,
like
it must be.
I actually think he played quite well, but I think that a lot of that was in Chelsea's half. I don't think he was particularly good in his own half.
I'm just gonna.
And also, if you look at Chelsea's team, it wasn't like they were trying to win the game.
When I saw Arsenal's lineup, I thought they were playing for a draw. So fair play that they actually got themselves in a position to score 3 goals. They shouldn't have conceded 2 goals when they did, though. But
I think I might. Be
I actually do think that on Gyökeres, I actually think he can do more, but also I think that he's in the wrong team.
I think I've been very fair when I've quoted him. I think I've been very fair.
Gyökeres should have gone to Man United in fact this year.
He would have came to Man United, and then we would have made them even worse, and then we would all be vindicated for the fact that he's just a sporting striker who had Coventry ties.
And it's funny how all of these Premier League fans were slating us for going to the Portuguese league to buy Núñez, but yet nobody's allowed to criticize Gyökeres at all now.
Oh yeah, exactly. But they don't know what they're doing. And even still, even Darwin Núñez, with his inconsistent amount of chances missed, he was still a better player in the Premier League than Gyökeres has been. Over just a single season metric, Darwin Núñez is actually still a better player than Victor Gyökeres. If Tupac was still alive and Darwin Núñez is shooting at him, then absolutely Tupac is still alive. But in terms of his overall working, that's the type of player that you want to say. If you want to have a striker who does more than just score goals, then yes, Gyökeres is a goal scorer. You bring him in to be a goal scorer, not for you to glaze and say, "Oh, we need you to hold up the ball and do all this." That's not his job. Like,
I actually came up with a good comparison for this. When everyone says that Haaland is a horrible footballer and all he does is score goals, Gyökeres is what people say that Haaland is.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. You know what's funny as well, over the course of the season, since he's taken that criticism, he's actually improved on the little things of his game that he's been criticised on.
Yeah.
Oh, he can't hold the ball up. He's got the hold-up play of a League Two player, but he's got the finishing of an elite world-class player.
That's what Roy Keane said.
Yeah, but he's actually...
And of course you know why Roy Keane says that about Haaland.
Because he fucking tried to break his dad in the worst ways. And technically did succeed, but he didn't fully succeed. But, like... He went to the wrong club, it's not even the sense of like. I actually find Man United signed the wrong striker as well. Not because I don't like Sesko. People are going to say, "Oh, Man United should have signed Gyökeres." I actually think it might show my bias here. Man United should have signed Voltemada. We actually should have signed Voltemada. It made more sense.
For me,
Were you even interested in him?
I don't think we were. No, I don't think we had anything.
For me, it was either Sesko or Watkins. And as much as I like Vival's talent ID, I would have gone Watkins, just because he's already Premier League proven. If you had front three in Amorim's system of Cunha, Watkins, and Mbeumo, would have been good.
Yeah, I actually think after you sign, maybe we went a bit too far. We needed midfielders, which I still reiterated on. We still needed defenders. We got a goalkeeper. Sesko could have came the following summer for any striker if they want a big man up front.
It had to be a proven player for me. I think if you're going
to, we kind of had similar problems in the summer in terms of buying players in positions that we didn't need.
It's weirdly enough for the same system that I said Liverpool should be playing. Man United should be doing the same because we don't actually have a lot of good wide players. We have a lot of central players. I actually think we would benefit the same way.
Yeah, because I was saying, for as happy as obviously I was with the Isak signing, we didn't actually need to buy him after we got
Especially after Ekitike. Yeah,
he's a phenomenal player.
Because I've been saying this to people since, considering Newcastle had already said no to selling Isak once we got Ekitike. Instead of having a debate and trying to bargain with Newcastle, we should have focused on getting Mark Gahey and maybe a 6.
I agree. I completely agree because as good as Gravenberch is, he has dropped off.
Yeah, because if you consider the fact that we ended up getting Isak on deadline day anyway, at the time that we had got Ekitike, there was still like 6 weeks of the transfer we have to get more players in before going back for it.
Here poses a question, gents, that I want to ask you. Here poses a question. Is that simply showing the arrogance of the big clubs that they think they can just get away with it because they think fans will knuckle under? Or do you think simply it's because they just don't care? Because simply put, like, there's only a certain handful of clubs that actually try and go and fix their problems. But the rest of them don't. You know what I mean?
I definitely think it's the case of arrogance there.
Because it is annoying. Like, because when you think about it in the best way, like, Man United are renowned for playing wide players and attacking football. We don't actually do it as well right now. But for me, I think for the time being, we should be playing with more central players in the midfield because at least we have the variety. It makes more sense. But I think
they can complement each other nicely as well. If we played a diamond in midfield, and the forwards I think we've got are suited to a 2-man up front.
Yeah, because I think realistically, say for saying sake, it's going to be a lot easier doing it like this. Hold on. Because I've done this.
For me, I think the most annoying thing about us is our club and our fans have we've needed a centre back for years. It's not a new thing. Yes. And we've been saying it. We've been saying this repeatedly since the season that Van Dijk and Gomez both got injured.
And
apart from Kabak and Davis, who basically played 5 games. Kabak played about 5 games. Davis never played for us. Apart from that, the only centre back that we signed in the last 5 years is Konate, who's leaving at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. I think it does show just how poor. What the hell? 1 second.
Is that your cat again?
No, I think on TNT Sports they're playing Real Madrid versus Barcelona from the 2002 Champions League. No, this is 2000. The winner plays Valencia in the final, the semi-finals. This is when Barcelona played a 3-3, 2-2. And Madrid played a 4-2, 2-2, which was absolutely bloody hilarious. But Madrid won this game. It's at the Nou Camp. Madrid won this. They battered them. Then they went and beat Valencia in the final. But this is
Well,
like,
they definitely wouldn't be doing that now.
no, they won't. What was I looking for? Yeah, I was looking for this because I did something recently on another channel and I stood by it about how certain clubs should play and how they look and how they act. I think right now, the way the game's playing, because inside forwards are such a prominent thing, the best way to get an inside forward to work is not playing a system with wide players. It's a system where the inside forwards are split strikers. It's actually the more effective way. So
I agree.
So I'll start with the club that I actually did first because it was a Liverpool. It was a Liverpool fan that asked me to do it on stream for them. So I was like, okay. They asked me for my opinion, and I was honest. So the exact lineup I did for them, I'll even show you so you guys can see it from scratch. When I did this for
before I see this, I guarantee you that I've seen this exact same formation.
Well, it's still the 4-4-2 diamond, which I actually still think right now is actually the most important system in football. And once people figure out why, we're actually happy. But when you actually look at it in a nutshell, so it's still the best. Well, top 2 goalkeeper in the league in Alisson. I am absolutely
I'm not having any Arsenal fans saying that Ray is the best goalie in the league because he's not.
It's Alisson and Donnarumma, like plain and simple.
Yeah.
They're the best. And the third best goalkeeper in the league, in my opinion, is Lamens. Even though he's only been here half a season, I'm still going to say that.
And he's conceded the same amount of goals as Onana did in his first 15 games.
Yeah, mind you, when you look at it, he is getting beat from screamers. I think I do think Liverpool's best right back is Conor Bradley, in my opinion.
He's injured there.
I know, but I'm saying that if you're fully fit squad, this is how I actually would line you guys up. So I still think it's Van Dijk and I still think it's Kanate. And then
mainly because we can't rely on Joe Gomez to play week in, week out without getting injured or anything like that.
Yeah. Then you've got
because if we could rely on Gomez, he would definitely be ahead of Kanate for me.
Yeah, Robertson at left back, holding midfielder. I think, considering the fact that it benefits well from a diamond, I think Gravenberch is there. Then, as a box-to-box midfielder beside him, a big player that I really do rate for Liverpool, and I actually like watching for international football, is Endo. Beside him, I think, realistically, if you get him back on form, it's McAllister or Szoboszlai, depending on how you want it. That profile pic by Nathan.
I mean, as much as I like Endo, I don't think he's got I wouldn't say the capabilities, but he doesn't have the attributes to play in Liverpool's midfield anymore.
He's definitely a backup, but there is, I think the midfield is in dire need of an upgrade, and has done for a while. Because I will never forget the summer where you sold half your midfield to Saudi when you needed a midfield rebuild anyway, and you still didn't do enough. And Endo was an option, was only brought in as a cheap secondary option after you missed out on Lavia and Caicedo.
You can even do so
I think some more steel is needed in that midfield. As good as Gravenberch has been in that role, he still needs.
It's that's not his position.
You've also got
he's being made to play there because of the system that this manager wants to do.
Or if you're still playing that diamond, you can remove Gravenberch from the holding role. You could potentially put Curtis Jones there. He's actually a decent player.
Yeah.
And then you can put Gravenberch in the more box-to-box role. And then you could play either McAllister or Szoboszlai, or you can play Szoboszlai ahead of Wirtz. You can play Florian Wirtz as part of a front two. You can play as a striker. But your best front two, for me, I actually think this is your best lineup. I like Kerkez, but I don't think Kerkez suits Liverpool. I don't think it suits...
Kerkez has been interesting for me. There are games where he plays really well, and then there are also games where he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but because of the diamond system and the way it actually allows you to have control in the midfield, I do think that, in my opinion, I don't know what you think, but I think that's your best team. I think Salah doesn't contribute to your team anymore.
In a diamond, I feel like in a diamond, if we're doing a diamond formation, for me, Frimpong has to be the right back.
because it allows you
Because
then Robertson can
100%.
tuck in
Yeah.
tuck in, make a back three, and you can make it a front
Yeah.
4 or 5.
and not only that, also the fact Frimpong's got more pace to actually get back than Bradley does.
And I think Frimpong is very effective going forward as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only put Connor Bradley in there just because I think Robertson is definitely a better attacking fullback. To be fair, Robertson is obviously leaving, but you could still have Kerkez in there
No,
as well.
he might not leave apparently.
Yeah, it's possible. Do you
I saw
agree
today-
with the rest
today
of it, or
he's-
would you?
I saw today that he said that contract talks have started, and he wants to stay, but it's like a end of season decision that he's going to make rather than making any decisions now.
Fair enough. No worries, James. Catch you later, mate. Hopefully, I'll see you as much as you can for the watch along. Hopefully, is there anything about that team that you would change? Even yourself, Julio, as a non-Liverpool fan, is there anything that you would change as well?
I think I would keep the personnel the same,
Mhm.
but I would change the way it's set up.
How would you change it?
Instead
you
of the midfield being a diamond, I'd have it as a box.
You'd have it as a box.
Yeah,
So you would have it more like
Like a 4-2-2 in some
Yeah.
format.
that.
yeah.
I can see that.
Because
So-
that is how because that for me has been where obviously it's easy to say because we've not had many, but that's been where our best performances for me have come this season.
I think the fact that we saw a diamond with Jones at the base of it highlights again the need for a proper I don't want to say a proper
And then-
six, because sometimes you can get well-rounded midfielders who actually are very good.
And then
playing
in
as
this
a deep line
system-
playmaker. But
And then in this
still,
system, I'd definitely be playing Soboslai and not McAllister.
It's easier to get a more distinct profile of player in this system.
Yeah,
Like, I actually think it's easier to mold a diamond team than anything else.
Yeah.
And yet people seem to
Because-
think it's not, but it's actually so easy.
I think it
Because
offers you
the
good
diamond-
fluidity and flexibility as well.
Yeah.
yeah. Because like with this formation, it serves two purposes. You can obviously keep it the way it is as 2 10s, or if you really wanted to, you could make it a 4-2-4 and have the players operate as wingers or inside forwards.
Yeah. It's all there. It's reluctance. And it's the same for like you could do the same squad, but you can have it as like a 3-4-3, but you can do the exact same thing. But I actually don't like I don't like a wide 3-4-3. Julio knows that. I only like.
I mean, we don't have the personnel for a 3-4-3 either because we've only got 3 centre backs, and one of them isn't always available.
Oh, true, but you can also play it like a 3-4-3 like that, where you're playing like just one natural centre back and then the 2 fullbacks. But I actually prefer like this anyway, because then you have an attacking front three, you've got a diamond midfield still, so it gives you more midfield control, and then you've just got the 3-man defence with a goalkeeper.
I think what's very understated about Isak as well is the potential for him to play as like a left forward. He did it a lot at Newcastle when it's actually quite good.
Yeah,
Because this is the thing. This is the thing with us is we've got 2 forwards that are pretty much exactly the same that can play the same roles.
yeah. Not to mention, you still have Cody Gakpo as well, who is very versatile.
Yeah, but he's not very good yet.
He has his moments though where he really does deliver for you though. Selling Diaz was a mistake, and I'll always stand by on that. You should never get rid of him.
No, he the thing is with Diaz, he wanted to leave. I don't think selling Diaz was the mistake. The mistake was not replacing him.
Yeah, it's hard
Because
to
they
replace
tried to paint it as we didn't want to stop Rio from developing, but yet we don't even play him yet.
Yeah, I can't even get that. Just sums up how shit this one is. I'm gonna do it in black. There we go. There's United saved. Fake Adidas stripes, but it's the same
It
for.
looks more like Leverkusen. It looks
Well, it's alright. It could be worse. I'll do it since mine used to wear a black kit. I'll just put us in black. Make it easier. Can't be arsed. So you do the exact same setup for United. It's the same thing. That's far too narrow. Fuck off. But it's the same realistically, the same problem that United has, but United actually has a weirder situation for how they play because United have got so many of the same position that how you change them up, but they're actually slightly more easier to fix. There's your more defensive fullback. Goalkeeper's in. There's your attacking fullback, not some clown who likes KFC. Martinez and De Ligt centre back. Now this is where it gets fun. You can also have Martinez here in that holding role, or Aiden Heaven in that role. You've then got beside it Mainu. Then you got Casemiro, not that frickin' Uruguayan knob that doesn't know what the word positional play is. Straight back into his more natural role in the number 10 Bruno Fernandes.
Which you saw him play against Brighton. Pretty much as soon as Fletcher came in, the first thing he did was put Fernandes back in his position.
Yep. And then this one's either Sesko or Cunha, depending on how you want to set up. But I actually have an advocation going forward. I actually think as well, as a weird thing, in certain games where you don't want to play him in this role, you could have Casemiro drop here at the base. Bruno Fernandes sits here.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to suggest that as a more permanent change.
Ahmad, I thought you were going to put Xerxes there for.
I think Xerxes. I think Xerxes would fit in that. Do you know something? I think I wouldn't put Heaven in midfield only because I know he's played it in his youth career, but I think what I like about the fact he's played in his youth career is it makes him more useful as like someone who's more competent on the ball in a back four.
He also has played left central midfield for Ivory Coast as well, so you could also play him as part of the midfield too, behind the 10 in front of the 6.
Yeah, I think for me the go-to. I mean, depending on the game, you could even have Ugarte playing in one of the wider midfield spots. Not because I rate Ugarte, but just
if you want to lose,
just as someone brought in.
Yeah, if you lot are serious, Ugarte should never play for you again.
Same with Dallo. Same with Dallo.
If it was up to me, Ugarte wouldn't be at the club right now. Jesus Christ. But I think that front three.
You can absolutely. I think the best front three is Emblemo with one of Sesko and Cunha, unless you actually put Cunha in the 10 role.
I was going to suggest that. Bruno in the where Ahmad is, and then Cunha in where Bruno is, and then Sesko and Emblemo, because Oli did that actually in his interim spell. He had Rashford and Martial, or Rashford and Lukaku, or Martial and Lukaku, and they had Lingard in that 10 behind the 2. But either the strikers would be split, or sometimes Lingard would drift out wide. And what I love about this formation is, depending on with a lot of the personnel, it plays to a lot of their strengths. Cunha's not a 9. Cunha's not a winger. But Cunha, as a second striker in a front 2 or a 10 behind 2 split strikers, would be excellent. And Mbeumo, you could even put Mbeumo and Ahmad as a front 2.
You could. I think that limits.
It seems to me that Cunha and Mbeumo are kind of the same player, but operating on different sides. Like they're neither a striker, neither are really a winger, but it's kind of the way that their previous teams operated that made it that they had to be that.
They're similar. This is what's crazy to me. They're the same, but they're similar. They're the same, but they're different.
The more effective goal scorer is definitely Mbeumo, though.
Yeah, and Mbeumo does what it says on the tin. Do you know what I mean? I think Cunha's best role in this might actually be in the 10 position.
Yeah,
but you've also got to consider the fact Cunha came from Wolves, so it's easy to look good for a Wolves side.
You could also
centrally as well.
You could put Mainu here. You could drop Fernandes into this role, and then you could put Cunha here, which then frees up the space where Emblemo more or less is a mainstay in the attack, which I think he should be.
Yeah.
But then that lets you decide on who partners. Is it Sesko or is it Xerxes, depending on the fixture?
Yeah.
Like,
I
depending on
think
the
short.
opposition.
I think
Because
short
one thing that
term
I will
should
say-
be the way to go.
One thing that I will say is I think that Man United have criminally underrated and underutilized Xerxes.
So do I.
100%.
I think he's
100%.
when he was playing for Bologna, and I said this to a few Man United fans who tried to tell me he's a number 9. I was like, no, I watch Serie A week in, week out.
Anyone who was expecting an out goal scorer, idiot. I'm not having this nonsense
He's
or
a
this
9.
discourse.
He is a 9.5. Like, he is literally like what Rooney and Sheringham were, like in terms of.
And I know how people memed that and made jokes of that, but you can see from the way that he plays that that's literally what he is.
And he's
a
not
great footballer as well. For someone of his height and stature, he's actually a great footballer. I'm not.
But
having
yet you decided to waste.
Holland was better.
Yeah.
But I was literally going to say you decided to waste the whole of last season on Højlund.
Yeah.
Xerxes did so well in that left 10 position. I'm sorry, but Xerxes getting injured pretty much derailed any chances of us winning a trophy.
No, I
forget that.
I think the problem. I think the problem.
You had
with Xerxes,
Spurs.
though,
You should have won the trophy regardless. You should.
Yeah.
I know we did, but we didn't because you
can blame
so
Luke Shaw for
many
that.
things at play.
Oh, I blame Luke Shaw.
You can blame Luke Shaw for that.
I blame Luke Shaw for everything. Don't worry. But when you look at, in a nutshell, this might be, and in the summer, if you just add to the squad, this actually might just be Manchester United's best midfield.
I think we definitely need more steel in the 6th position.
Yeah, but then you could then have Mainu and Ahmad compete for each other as well in that midfield. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
I think depending on the personnel, it will call for different lineups. I don't buy into this. United have to have a destroyer. I think United need a mix. They need a deep line playmaker who can play on his own in the 6, and they need a destroyer who can play on his own in the 6, because different game states require different players.
Well, we know what the best midfield is in football. The best midfield is Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz, because they're not all direct playmakers. They're actually, one of them is an outright playmaker in Fabian Ruiz. João Neves is the box-to-box type midfielder, and then Vitinha plays the deeper role where he's actually really good, but he's a brilliant finisher. If you actually look at it, Vitinha, I'm going to say this, I don't care if this gets clipped. I really don't care. Vitinha is the 2026 of Lothar Matthäus in 1990.
Jesus Christ, that's quite a shout. Do you know what, though? Can you imagine Ruben Neves at the base of this midfield?
Oh, yeah, because then I would simply
immediate upgrade.
I would then have Amad Diallo right in here, beside Cunha. And then you've got Mainu right in there. And then Ruben Neves is right here.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
That's job done. Although, to be fair, I'm a greedy bastard.
You're never going to get Vitinha out of PSG.
No, absolutely not.
I'm a very, very greedy bastard. If it was up to me, that would be Man United's midfield. If we had an owner that cares, I love this guy. I would. We're not gonna do it. And Josiah knows how much I like this guy because I talk about it to Josiah all the fucking time.
Pretty much all summer it was like we need Stiller.
Or Stiller or Pavlovic. But then the more I started watching the Portuguese lads, I was like, I really still like Vitinha as well. I just became such a greedy bastard for these Portuguese players. But that's already a more complete midfield because they all play in the same international setup. It's hard to change that. But then again, that's ambition. That's the difference between owners and Ineos and the Glazers. Because I don't care who you are. No offense to, let's say, Liverpool, but even you'll admit, under a proper manager, if that was the Man United midfield, even yourself, you'd be like, fuck, I'd be shitting myself.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it is definitely a better midfield than what you currently have.
I actually would go on record and say if this actually in the Premier League, it's the best midfield in football. Back to front, like in terms of providing everything. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like what it offers, it's crazy. Yeah, shite and extra shite. Well, to be fair, Anderson's not shite, but it's just the fact is Anderson, like, it's just one good season. Now he's just XYZ amount of money. I don't like that.
And
at all.
it's also the fact that he's English and not Scottish that you don't like about him.
Yeah, that too. He fucking Judas. I can't hear you, Julio. Can't hear you. You did some sort of weird mute there. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
I think you muted your tab or something. I don't know what you said there, mate. He was saying Julio was saying something, and he went all stone deaf quiet. Right, if you are going back to the whole, if I just go back, current basis, I think that is Man United's best midfield. But even just adding in, well, hold on, there we go. If you add in just one signing, Cunha Ahmad there, but if you just change that right there to Mainu, because he should be playing games anyway, if as long as his attitude's in check, and you just play Ruben Neves there, it's already like, it doesn't matter what happens. At least you've got control in midfield.
Yeah.
We haven't got anyone. It's why I actually, weirdly enough, it's why I advocate for Man United playing Bruno Fernandes in a very scary deep role. Because he actually can at least do it. But it just depends how you do it. I think the furthest he should go back is that position. Well, at least there's one good thing about football that will never happen. At least we will never see this moron play for Man United.
Oh, Jude Bellingham.
When his brother is the real better player. Mark my words, Joe Bellingham will outshine that clown of a brother of his.
Jude Bellingham's nothing but a model.
Yeah. I'm honestly sick of him. But anything else you lads want to say before we disappear for the evening?
Not really, apart from it's been fun to be on here, actually.
You're more than welcome to appear at any time, that's for sure. Julio, I still can't hear you. What is going on? Let's see if I mute, then unmute him. Say something. No. Have you muted your tab? Because I've done that before where you can accidentally mute the internet browsing tab. Refresh. Get him to refresh. I don't know what he's done, but he's went from talking to absolute silence, and it is quite funny. But yeah, you are absolutely more than welcome on here. Let's see, there he is. Oh wait, no, he was there and then he vanished again. And then obviously I've got the, just making sure that watch along. Yep, watch along is ready for. That's going to be. Oh boy. I don't think I can.
Did you see that? What's his name? That Leon Slater isn't on the show now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me now, can't you?
There we go.
Yeah.
I just refreshed it and it started working. I know halfway through at some point my AirPods disconnected because it ran out of battery. But even though it said everything was back, like mic, audio, whatever, and set to the right settings, it wasn't working.
Brilliant. Can't beat watching this in portrait somehow. It's because see when you go in the channel, you've got a landscape and portrait. The portrait one will always have your mobile phone icon or the mobile icon. So that's how you know which one you're watching on. It's only on StreamYard. So it's not so bad.
Excuse me.
There we go. Actually, wait a minute. How about I check something? Hold on. Yeah, they're still there. Good. Do you know our show from last week? Our first show back on the podcast as an actual podcast is now 105 views.
Seriously?
Impressive.
God damn.
Our first show back after, because before that it was the watch along which hit combined 550 views. But then even before that, it was like 4 months ago, Premier League predictions. Then we just took like a long break because we couldn't figure out a regular date for all of us.
We genuinely could, and it was trenches.
69 views. But now we're coming back to Thursday nights. And we're not going to play the Europa League song before anyone asks.
Oh,
We're not doing that shit. But of course, please do like, share, and subscribe to the World of Football podcast. I just wanted to ask, is there anything you lads want to say? I know, obviously, Josiah, you said you were really glad to be on here, and we really do appreciate it. And obviously, you're more than welcome on here anytime. Same as everyone else in the chat. I'll need to prepare a quiz for the... Yeah, you absolutely can. Next time, if you want, you can jump in. I need to prepare a quiz for... because we've not done a quiz in a while, but that's certainly on the agenda. But Julio, anything else you want to say before we wrap up for the night?
I said all I wanted to say about interims and whatnot, so I appreciate you giving me the chance to monologue.
You're welcome.
Please, I'm trying to get back in the swing of content, so I'd appreciate support on Red Brew Review. It might be rebranding soon. I'm currently thinking about it, but just the name. But please come along and support one of my recent videos where I just talked about Amram getting sacked. But yeah, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. So if you want to hear me moan for about 10 minutes, then, you know, because that's what Man United does. It makes me complain. Yeah. And my thumbnails are great, by the way.
I actually do like your thumbnails.
I love my Ratcliffe one. I love that one personally.
This one's actually your best one, in my opinion. The price is
Really?
right. Yeah.
What about my live ones? Press on the live tab, because that's not everything. There's also lives I've got on there, I think. Yeah.
That one's cool. I do like that from 442 to 343. I think that's clever. What's mad as well is like, I'm actually on that. I apologize, people.
Yeah.
But then again, I did draw views.
No, you definitely didn't. I really wish I could. Do you know what? If uni hadn't got in the way, I wish I would have been able to carry that momentum.
I mean, look at it. It's over 1,000 views. I am the needle mover. I'm only kidding. I'm not. But folks,
Yeah, listen,
again,
I'd appreciate support on it.
Please
So,
do.
Thank you.
Quick one for me before we go. Just showing everybody that I am live in 2 hours and 22 minutes. If you want to come along and watch me abuse this lot, then absolutely get in on it. But in the meantime, we thank you. We don't hate you. We appreciate you. And we will see you all next time. Thank you. And Dan has subscribed to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
He is a fellow United fan, so that's something for you as well. So
leave your comments as well, by the way, Dan. If whatever you watch, please leave me your opinions, because I'm always interested in what people think with what I say.
Yeah, really much so. And Josiah, of course, I know you'll be back on the Weekly Steelchair this weekend, because we've got a shitload for ourselves to get through, my dude.
We do, yes.
Preparing
it was a
you in
pleasure
advance.
having you, Josiah, by the way. Pleasure.
It's good to finally be on here. I've heard so many good things, and it certainly didn't disappoint us.
A Twitter handle for Josiah, in case you need it, Julio. Hold on 2 seconds.
I think you've tagged him in something before, so I'll probably find it through that.
Yeah, Heel J-Man. Heel J-Man on Twitter. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add him in. Fuck it. You know what? I'm actually going to...
There we go.
We're going to get him added in the group. We're going to get him added in the group chat. They always say group stage.
Slot out.
Oh, he absolutely hates Arne Slot. He does, and he didn't do it before, because he's bottling the league. It's simply the fact that he just doesn't like what he's doing, and he doesn't. Like
I don't like him. I don't like his style of play. I don't like the way he conducts himself in press conferences. He's just clueless. And always
backtracking.
Yeah.
Which you have talking about a lot, and I know you really don't like it, but thank you all. We do appreciate it. Again, every Thursday night around 8 o'clock UK time. If not, it'll be 8:15. That is our start time, depending on how fast Julio stops going for a piss. But in the process, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week, where Nathan will be back too, and Josiah as well if he wants to be, and Dan, anyone who wants to be here, we will. We'll get you into the group chat. We'll add you in. In the meantime,
all right.
Goodbye.
live on YouTube, and listen back on Spotify. This is the World of Football podcast.